Everyone to our final feedback session. I'm sure you all had a long day, but I still see smiling faces. That's well done. This session, we are going to give a gentle feedback from all the 24 examiners, including 8 senior doctors who have volunteered their time. Hope you found this session useful. If you want to get a feedback, we are going to send you a formal feedback, as well as if you want, you can put some notes in the chat box here and in our WhatsApp groups. After this event, we will share all the questions, even in the questions asked in the other meeting rooms in your WhatsApp group. Hope to see you all again in January, at the January 22nd event. Now call upon all the examiners one by one to come give a brief feedback. Can I call Sharon to come and give the feedback, please?
Yeah, hi. So firstly, I thought everyone that I've come across did really well. You guys really tried your best, and it's quite clear that you guys have given quite a lot of thought about it. But I guess my top tips would be, firstly, to think about the reasons why you've applied to that medical school, to read up about the course, maybe the research that's being done, or maybe something you find quite interesting about the university. And then if you don't know the answer to any questions, take some time to just think about it and maybe explain your reasoning and logic as you go along.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. Can I call upon Dr. Neela?
Hi. I was impressed with all my candidates. They were all they've done their research and gave me very polished answers. My station was on work experience, so this is a station to see if you've actually done some work experience and have you reflected on what you see. So that was what the questions were based on. So my tips were to look up on the GMC guidelines on a good doctor, the skills you need to be a good doctor, to show that you can demonstrate that and show that you have reflected on what you see and how you're going to put into practice. And my other tip will be for you to practice with each other on how to answer questions, so that when you're faced with that in real life, it's polished and it comes easy to you.
Thanks, Neela. Can I call upon Dr. Rupa?
Hi, everyone. Well done, all of you. Very few tips from my side. MMI's, the positive bit is if you don't do one station well, you have the other stations. It's very normal to have a thought block, to have the stress of the examination, and that's the good thing. So if you don't do one MMI station well, please don't go on about it. You have the other stations to catch up on. The other ones, like other people have said, please practice the questions. It doesn't have to be with a doctor. Do it with your teachers, with your friends, your classmates, your sisters, your brothers, and even to a dog. You just have to verbalize, and for every question have 1 or 2 points, 1 to 3 points, so that you can score the marks. Yeah, well done, all of you, and keep practicing, and good luck to all of you.
Okay, thanks, Rupa. Yeah, if you have got a dog, please speak with your dog. Next, I call upon Pranav.
Hi, I'm Pranav. I'm a student. I think the stations I did were quite varied. And one thing that I want to highlight to everyone is climate change. I think everyone should go look up climate change, because it's the WHO are saying it's the biggest health threat facing humanity. There's a high chance you'll get something related to climate change on your interviews. I think one of my friends did, which is why I added it here. In terms of general feedback, I think a lot of the things I said were signposting. So give sort of a plan of what you're going to say before you start saying it, because that helps you in your head know what you're going to say, but also it tells the interviewer that you know what you're talking about. And also in terms of soft skills and communication skills, a lot of people were on the using words like maybe, or I think so, or I guess, and you're going to want to use more definite language there, just to make sure that you're not seeming like you're on the fence about certain issues. You're going to want to really back your own point, basically. But yeah, that's everything for me.
Okay, thanks, Pranav. Let's see if your dad gives a better feedback than you. I'll call upon Dr. Senthil Kumar.
I will try to do better than Pranav, but anyhow. First of all, well done, because a lot of these medical student examiners were candidates in the past. So I hope most of you will become doctors, and please come back to help us. The other thing is 3 of the candidates, 1 had to leave and 2 had broadband issues. So if you're doing online, please check your broadband width. If not, your school should be able to give you that facility. Please use that. Mine is a clinical scenario. So whenever you talk about clinical scenario, whether you can think safeguarding, think family, please consider that. And also in any clinical scenario, always consider physical health and mental health. Confidentiality, there are certain conditions where you can breach, like in our scenario where intoxicated driver going to drive to pick up a child. So that's breaching confidentiality to police and safeguarding. And the personal communication, like if there is a role play, how you improve your personal communication. There will also be a question on COVID. So just be mindful COVID impact on VME communities. And one other scenario is like the one night stand. Everybody assume, inversely, all the 15 candidates assume. So you need to clarify when this happened, what happened, and what other things. So don't assume. Ask questions and don't use mnemonics. If you're using PPE, you need to say what PPE is. And just the point which Pranav touched upon, NHS contributes to 5% of the greenhouse gases in UK. So that's a take-home message for you online. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Senthil. Next, I call upon Janvi.
Yes, hello. I think everyone did very well. I could tell there were a few nerves, but I think that's understandable. So I had the sort of ethics station. So I think something that's very important to consider is always try to address every part of the question stem. So that may take the form of defining certain words or just saying back to the examiner like a little summary of what the question was. I think just shows that you're really listening. So defining question stem and using the 4 medical pillars, so justice, autonomy, beneficence, and non-maleficence, to structure your answer. So then once you have that foundation in place, you can add other points on that are relevant to the question. So if the question is about safeguarding, add safeguarding or emphasize that. If a question is about dementia and capacity, focus on capacity. And then end with a balanced argument and a conclusion. I think that's very important. So structure, signposting, and addressing the question stems important. I think one other thing is make sure you've done your wider reading. So one of the questions was on abortion and making sure you know, for example, the Roe versus Wade case in America. So just your wider reading as well. But overall, very well done and very best of luck for everyone as well.
Thank you. Dr. Prakash.
Hello, again, everybody did very well, very thoughtful, articulate answers I got. My stations were more of a broad-based questions, more about government policies, fake news, disinformation, those kind of positive or negative encounters with a doctor, that kind of thing. So this is an opportunity where you can express yourself, bring out your passion, say things with conviction. If you have certain positions, you can argue for that so that you can, if possible, with some kind of backing and evidence. It's a broad canvas. It's these questions are where you can bring out your personality and you can paint as much as little, but with clarity. So very well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan.
There we go. Couldn't get it to work. So everyone today, did so well, and it, as I said to all of them, it can be really difficult if this is kind of your first time having that style of more academic conversation. And for your first time at it, you all did really, really well and have evidently prepared, thought through stuff and prepared quite well. I think my piece of advice would be to not be afraid to take a pause when they ask you the question. take 30 seconds. If they don't offer you the opportunity, don't be afraid to say, you know, I'm going to take 30 seconds to collect my thoughts, so that when you start speaking, it is coherent and it's not just kind of a mess of thoughts, and that you start in the right place, so that you don't just kind of throw yourself off by starting and then losing your train of thought immediately. But yeah, I thought you all did really, really well. So well done and good luck.
Okay, thanks, Megan. Shraddha?
Hi, just to resonate what everyone else said, everyone did super well on my station. I think a bit of advice that I would give would probably be try and link it back to medicine and healthcare and being a medical student and being a doctor whenever you can. Maybe just right at the end, just being like, and this would help me in medicine by just to hone back to the fact that you're in an interview and this is for medical school and this is exactly what you want to do. So yeah.
Thank you. Just for everyone, all the medical students here, they have been on the other side, like students like you over the last few years. So I hope to see all the students here to come back as examiners in the next few years. Next, I call upon Abhi.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you everyone for coming today. The fact that you're here shows that you're resilient and dedicated towards reaching your goals. So some feedback from my side is that just think about the reason they're asking you this question and try and reflect on your work experience, because reflection shows that you've learned from your work experience and you're actually thinking about what would life be as a doctor. So reflection is key, and make sure you can evidence all your points and back it up, and just show your enthusiasm and your hard work and your dedication and your passion of being a medical professional, and you'll be absolutely fine. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Abhi. Dr. Devasmita.
I think it was a fantastic evening. I think everybody tried their best, and it was very commendable that people attempted questions thoughtfully, and I was very impressed. So my suggestions, my set of questions were clinical as well as data interpretation and a few other principles, core principles of the NHS. And in terms of clinical questions, I appreciate that all of you are in the process of trying to apply for medicine. So what we are looking for is your general approach to prioritization of various tasks, understanding that clinical need precedes any other tasks. So that would be how we would expect you to give explanations of why you would choose to do a certain task against others. There are often no right or wrong answers. We are just trying to analyze what is your thinking process in these kinds of clinical questions. Again, patient safety is really important. So remember to talk about those terminologies. And another piece of advice is when you finish off the questions, try to link into the questions you were asked, because sometimes what happens is that people end the question in a bit of a, it looks as though it's kind of not complete. So try and, if you're not sure what else to say, go back to the original question and link in with that to kind of give it a good finish. I think you'll all do very well. I wish you the very best, and I look forward to some of you joining us next year for these kinds of mock experiences. Thank you.
Thanks, Devasmita. I'm sure many of the students here will come back as examiners. Next, I call upon Saujanya.
Hi, everyone. Just first of all, I want to say a huge well done to everyone today. We had some really challenging stations and you all managed to cope well, so that's great. I was actually on the work experience station and I saw some really good answers, so huge well done to everyone. I just have two main tips. The first one is really structure your answers well so that it flows in a really good chronological order. You want to make sure that it's a well organized answer rather than make it quite messy. So just structure it quite well. And the second tip is to take a deep breath before, they aren't after they've answered the question, so that you can really collect your thoughts and really think about what you're going to say. Because in the end, all we want to do is for you to answer in a calm, collected manner, because you could get into a state where, you can get nervous and quite rush your answer, and we just don't want that at all. So just take a deep breath and just calm down before you answer the question. But yeah, so well done to everyone. You all do well, and huge best of good luck for everyone.
Okay, thanks, Saujanya. Yes, I'm sure people will agree to be calm and composed during the interview. Thanks for the practical tip. Next, I call upon Dr. Raji Anand.
Hi, everyone. I think you all did amazingly well. And quite several of the students who were there with me, role play was completely new. And role play is very tough situation. Even now as a GP, as a trainer, I see that it's a difficult one for registrars. So you guys handled it really well. But I do have a couple of points which I would really like to stress on. The role play scenario is all about communication, where they're trying to see whether you have the empathy and the ability to understand where the patient is coming from, to be exactly in their shoes and understand their pain and their despair. And please communicate with them. It's like in the driving test, it's about demonstrating and clearly vocalize it. Say as much as possible, I'm really sorry you feel this way. So you can't go wrong by saying you're sorry for them. And also, never come across as a doctor who's quite patronizing. Again, that is a slippery slope. So you can get into real trouble by that. So put it in a manner that give them options. Try to say that I'm there for you and how best I can help you in this scenario, rather than saying I'm the doctor and I would rather not do this, or trying to say that curtailing the options is not what this is about. So other than that, you guys did absolutely well. So just be very calm, cool, collected, as everyone else is stressing, but that's what they want. They want doctors who can handle stress and come out successfully. All the best.
Thank you. Risha? Risha Gupta? Okay, I'll call upon Sriram.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say, yeah, well done to everyone. Everyone in my station did really well. My station was motivation, so I've just got a couple of tips here. So every time you mention an experience, just make sure that you relate it back to medicine. So relate, and reflect on your experience as well. I think that's like a really important point. And just do some extra reading, even if it's just like one article a week. What I did was I just go on like the health bit on BBC News. I just like read like one article a week. It's good to keep up to date. So yeah, those are my tips, and good luck.
Thank you. Joshini?
So everyone did really well in my station. So mine was university and like knowledge of the university. Just a few tips that I have include just make sure you know the structure and the structure of the course that the university provides really well, and find some specifics within the course and link it back to your style of learning. And also think about the hospitals that the university works with. And I remember last year I was asked, and it kind of was off-putting. So make sure you do know the hospitals the university works with. And finally, think about research that the university's done, and if anything links to your EPQ, for example, or anything interests you, and how you'll take that further. But other than that, everyone did really well, and good luck.
Thank you. Good to see, year one medical students staying away in their university accommodation, staying away from home. Homesick, I think, or maybe I don't know whether they are enjoying their freedom. But anyways, for them to spending their time and coming over. Thank you. Next, I call upon Rashmi.
You need to unmute, please.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. Everyone really did well in my station. Just keep up with that. Adding on to various other people is just make sure when you're kind of answering any question, be clear, you understand the question. If you don't, just take some time or ask the examiner what you haven't been able to understand about it, and try and structure your answers and kind of be clear. And it's fine to take a pause in between as well. Don't panic, and don't take that stress to the next station as well. My questions were across in terms of being aware of the current healthcare system and the future, how it's going to be, and also how you're going to take your keep yourself motivated and de-stress yourself. So everyone really did well. So just keep up with that, and best of luck.
Thank you. Surya?
So hi, my station was personal insight, and so I just wanted to give you some feedback on those, some general points. So first, I would like to say that don't be afraid about talking about your weaknesses or failure, because interviews are very passionate to know about what you've learned from the mistakes you've made, and the ability to reflect is very important. So just don't try and hide your weaknesses, and just really reflect on them. And I think that the personal insight stations in particular, you have to show like a journey, like a process that you've been on to improve yourself. And having that journey, really demonstrating that journey really makes your answer very strong. So I think just try and keep like a flow to it. And because MMI questions are really, MMI stations are very time restrained, so they ask you a lot of follow questions. So I think keeping to the main points and sticking to like the main things you want to stay in, not going on a tangent, is very important. And the final thing that every other examiner's also said is just to keep linking it back to medicine, which is very important.
Thank you. Paul?
So hi everyone, yeah, I'm Paul, and I just thought, yeah, well done to everyone who came today. You all did a cracking job. You really put in a lot of effort, and it is early November, so you've done really well, and you've lasted 3 hours of some intense questioning. So I think for the people who had me, I asked quite tricky questions, questions to sort of throw you off. And I just did that just to see how you'd react under pressure, how you're going to deal with these tricky situations, and how that sort of manifests on the outside to the examiner. And I think you all dealt with them really well. Just a few pointers: definitely take the time to, absorb the information. Even an extra 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you can think of a little structure in your head, and your answer will be so much more coherent and articulate. And I'd say the next thing is definitely think about getting your main points out first. For example, it's the last question in the station, there's 30 seconds left. You come into this question, you get your main points out first, and then the buzzer goes, then at least you've done the best you can do. But if you, sort of waffle around a bit, put some minor points, and the buzzer goes, you're not able to get those big main points that you want to do. But so those would be my main ones, but I think you all did really well, and I wish you all the best of luck. And well done for taking the time to do this on a Sunday evening.
Okay, well done, Paul, for the practical tip. Next, I call upon Meera.
Hi, so my topic was NHS hot topics. And I think the main thing that I would say is try and prepare at least one article so that you can, if they do ask you on anything that you've read recently, you have something in your pocket already. I think try and read up on big cases as well. And if you don't know where to go, there's a really good resource called Medic Portal. And if you go onto there, they've got things such as ethics, hot topics, everything like that. So yeah, and good luck, guys. I hope you do well.
Thanks, Meera. Good to see again, students coming back. Our next session is on January 22nd. And next year, we are also planning junior doctor training and other training as well, for example, into specialty training. So those things we are branching out. So anyone interested in teaching, please let us know. Next, I call upon Dr. Melchizedek.
Good evening. Well done all. I thought the group of students that I examined this evening was very good, very enthusiastic, and they did a fabulous job. My questions were to deal with the attributes, the character, the value a good doctor gets to their job. As I said, the candidates did extremely well. In terms of what I was looking for is clarity. I was looking for structure, and I thought, I was looking for how do they apply their life experience in bringing out their answers. So the reflection. So I always think about structure. It's very, very important. Like a few of my the examiners said, think about the 3 or 4 buzz things that you're going to say and bring them out straight away. All right. And if you bring in your life experience, so one of the questions was about dealing in adversity and what you learn from that. I thought some of the students gave from some genuine examples, and that comes across very clearly. So that's very important. So one other tip I would say is, for any interview, if you sit down and spend some time thinking about who you are and write down 2 or 3 things that describes you as a person, and try and bring that in the interview, and that will come across as truly genuine, and I'm sure it will be helpful in your interviews. Thank you again, on all the best.
Thanks, Melki. I call upon Dr. Kandasamy.
Hi, good evening. And I did the ethics and something about GMC. So I think everybody done well. It's all difficult questions, and probably they can't relate themselves to the scenarios. But the purpose was asking was like what they're thinking and how they come up with an answer, even if they don't know the answer, and that's what it was about. So my tip would be about don't come up with like a reversed answer. If you ask a question, just like having a natural conversation or a discussion with the interviewer. So that will give you smiling and then telling that, oh, maybe I'm not sure, maybe I forgot about it. It's nothing wrong in that, but don't keep on saying that. But just make it like a real conversation and discussion with the interviewer. That's very, very important. And I think a lot of people mentioned about the ethical principles. I think you need to use those pillars of ethics to discuss the scenario. That will be easier, even if the scenario is not familiar with you. So that's very, very important. And also use examples from your life experience. Always answer the question with context and or your work experience, that's why you are expected to do the work experience and see if there's about team working, give the example from your work experience, what you saw and what is your understanding of it and how it worked well. So that's my tip. And always smile, that's very important, so it really helps and makes you at ease as well, so that your answers will come out a lot better. I think everyone done very well, and all the best. It was very good.
Thank you, Kanda, for sharing your valuable good experience. And last but not the least, I call upon Dr. Jas Mataru to give us advice.
Yes, yeah, thank you for that. So apologies, I came a little bit late to the party. So I had a sort of a very brief discussion with some of the candidates. All I can say is we had a very enthusiastic conversation with the candidates. A couple of tips first. If you get asked questions regarding the NHS, be careful not to politicize anything. I don't think any of the interviewers will be looking for any political answers. So be careful we don't take a political angle on perhaps where we think the NHS might be going and funding and things like that. I think if we can, in an interview, shy away from those things. But I think the question I asked was a situational question, a question that you'll almost certainly get in the MMI, something along the lines of describe a situation when, and it's well recognized that we can use the STAR method to answer this, and it gives you some structure in building the answer. And the STAR is an acronym for discuss the situation, the task, the action, and what the result was. And bear in mind that when they ask you for any of these situational type questions, you've got 3 remits. You can come from a professional experience or a working experience. You can come from a personal experience, or you can use a social experience, something that you might have experienced with your friends. But on the whole, it was a very interesting conversation I had. And on behalf of all of the interviewing panel, good luck to all the candidates. Thank you.